Hey guys, I just thought I'd shoot a quick video. My channel is relatively new, so most of you are going to be new to it. So if you like what you see or you want to just hop on sometimes and join in, that's great. Please hit the subscribe button, the bell, and if you like this video, give it a like, although it is on grief. I'm going to be doing a little DIY for myself for my paints. Paint holder also helps me to not cry. So my name is Amy, and I hope you will get something out of this. So on one of my other videos, I'm gonna need these glasses, I'm grandma. On one of my other videos, I explained that my 14-year-old son passed away of osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of him and miss him. And for those of you who are grieving as well, whether it's been 2 minutes or like me almost 2 years, or any amount of time, it doesn't matter. When you lose a child, there is no words that can explain it. And you will never get over it. And if you came on this channel hoping to hear that you would, I can't lie to you, so I'm not going to. You're not going to get over it. It changes. A lot of it remains the same. You cry, things remind you of him. A lot of things don't remain the same. But the one constant thing is you're always going to miss them. And I wish I could tell you that gets better with time, but it hasn't for me. I can only tell you my opinions and what I'm going through and what I think. And it just doesn't get any easier as far as missing them. You deal with it differently as the time goes on, but it doesn't really change. I will tell you this. Like I said, this is just my opinion, my thoughts. I'm nobody, doesn't mean anything. But I do not believe in those 5 stages of grief that everybody talks about. I don't believe it because it bothers me. Yes, you go through some things. I never went through denial. I know that, I mean, to me, saying denial, that's not a stage of grief, because, like, my ex-husband didn't accept, he would not accept that his child was going to die. And I accepted it because without accepting it, I wouldn't have gotten to, if I kept, I don't know how to put it exactly, if I kept holding out hope, not that we didn't, and not that I didn't, but by accepting the fact that he was terminal and that more than likely there was a 99% chance he was going to die, it changed the way I handled everything every day. I made sure that I told him everything I wanted to tell him every single day until the day he died. I got it all out, and most of it, you know, I mean, there's still things, but so when they say denial, I think that's not a stage of grief. That's a stage, in my case with cancer, it was a stage of, actually the denial part was before the grief came. The denial part was no, my kid doesn't have cancer. How is this happening? The denial part for my ex-husband was, no, he's not going to die. There's hope. There's miracles. He's not going to die. So when they say denial for grief, grief to me is after your child passes away. That's what grief is to me. Or that's how that word, when you're grieving something, it's already happened. And there's nothing you can do about it. And so that's what it means to me, personally. Like I said, these are my opinions. You know, don't go come after me with a book and say, you know, this and this and this. I'm no psychology expert. I'm just a person. But that's what grief means to me. So the 5 stages of grief that everybody talks about, that I have a problem with that one especially. I can tell you my stages of grief are this. It's all put together. It's to hold those bottles of paint. So basically, it's 4 Dollar Tree napkin holders that I zip tied together, and it will sit like this, and they will go. So very simple, very $4, and I can organize my art supplies because I do have a lot of art supplies. I'm in the process of summer cleaning, quarantine cleaning, whatever you want to call it, and I've got a lot of, and I'm not sick, by the way. It's just I have a sinus infection. I don't have COVID or anything, and I'm not in quarantine really, but I'm taking the day off today. So anyway, what I was saying about that is, for me, the grief was at first shock. So I would say that would be the first stage. Like, I couldn't believe that it really happened, that he really left the world, that he was gone. Like, completely gone. Done. Out of here. Not coming back ever. Never get to hear his voice in my ears again. So that was the first stage for me, was shock. After the initial shock wore off, I'd say, I don't know exactly when it wore off. It's hard to like tell you when it wore off, because it had to be after the first year. And I mean, September will be 2 years. So I think that's when the shock finally wore off. And then it went into complete and utter, and I'm not even kidding, and total sadness. There is nothing, I can tell you, nothing tastes good. Nothing made me happy. There was nothing that I could do to get through each day, and totally on Prozac. And the doctor even added Wellbutrin, although I did not take that because of a lot of the side effects. But and hey, I don't think there's any shame in taking any kind of medication after your child dies, because Lord knows some people are going to need it more than others. Single mothers that don't have a family, they're definitely going to need it, because you really don't want to live once your child dies. You just don't. And, you know, the thing about for me is I had a support system of my ex-husband's mother and father, and my older son Nicholas, and many, many great friends. I don't have any other family besides some cousins, which I love them dearly. I just don't have that many people, but it's okay, because, you know, it's not a bad thing to think about things to yourself. Anyway, talking about the second stage for me was utter sadness, total sadness, complete sadness. I can't even, it was just like dread of every day, you know, without him. And I would post every thought and feeling I had on Facebook every single day. And I know I lost a lot of friends because a lot of people don't want to hear that, or they want to tell you, get over it. It's been a year, or whatever. There's no clock for for grieving. There's no, you can't punch in and out of it. I mean, it's there all the time. So telling somebody to get over it, or have you gone and sought counseling? Yeah, okay. That's a whole nother story, and I'm not even going to get into it in this video because there's great counselors out there. It's just some things work for some people and some things don't. So I went through the depression part of it. And then, I guess, after, it's a blend. You still have sad days, and you still have days where you talk to your baby and through your day and think, oh, he would have laughed at that, and it does make you sad, but not to the point where you break down in tears or anything. You're almost like you're carrying him with you in that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, he's beside you. It's almost like having God. God's there every day, sitting in the chair next to you. Jesus is here, and if you believe in God, I do. So it's almost like he's with you every day. So, like, when you hear a joke and you're like, oh, Christian would have laughed at that. Sometimes it's like that little bit of twinge of sadness where you want that tear, you want to do it, but you also are happy that you thought of him and that you saw that comedian, or you saw that game, or you heard that joke, or whatever it was, that sunset. And you're like, wow, he's here with me. I know he is, So yeah, there's that. And then I guess, like, the stage that I'm at now, I mean, it's not perfect by no means, but I'm in a good place. I do have my days. There'll be at least one day out of the week where I will just cry. Sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for an hour, sometimes until I go to sleep. But for the most days, I think of him, I miss him, and I'm sad, but I also have accepted more of, my ring light just went out in case you wondered. It's raining outside, so, but I've accepted more of what is, I guess I should say. For the first year, I guess, maybe more, I slept on my couch and not in my room. And I know that sounds crazy, and you're like, what did that have to do with anything? The kid used to come and crawl up in my bed, and I'd wake up and there he was, one sock on, one sock off, 14 years old. Didn't care. He loved his mama, so he didn't care. But he'd stay up all night playing his favorite Super Mario Kart. And then I had already gone to bed, and then I'd wake up and there he was. Cute little thing, But yeah. So those are good memories, but at the point I was at then, I slept on the couch. I couldn't sleep in my room. And then finally, I don't know what changed. One day I just decided to go in there and make up my bed, and I slept in my room. And I remember thinking, this is cozy. This I feel calm, and I feel like, I think I felt eventually, and I didn't think I would feel this way when I was sleeping on the couch, but I think I felt eventually like I was closer to him because I was sleeping in my room, and he did love to come and, he was the kind of kid that every morning when you woke up, he'd be like, how'd you sleep, Mom? If we were spending the night at my friend's house, he'd be like, how'd you sleep? How's your day? Just one of those great kids that you just don't understand why it happened to them, and I have no answers for that. And I've asked a million times, and I struggled with it. And when he was going through all of it, you know, me and God, whew, I struggled with God. But my son, actually, one day I told him, I was sitting next to him, I had my head on the arm of the chair that he was sitting in, and because I've tried to be as close to him as possible in those last days, and I said, I'm so mad at God. And Christian said, Mom, why are you mad at God? Why aren't you mad at the devil? And I was like, well, good point. And I was like, I'm just angry with God because he let this happen to you. And he said, Mom, he didn't let it happen to me. There's evil in the world, and it just is what it is, you know. And so I was like, okay, well, if he can accept the fact and say that it's not anybody's fault, it just is what it is, and I hate that statement, then I should be able to too. So so that helped. I mean, and you know, I've been given a lot of books. I'll recommend some books later on when I do some more videos. But I do want to tell you, you know, and you can see, I got my hair up in a bun. I've been cleaning the house today and everything. I'm not going to get dressed up and put on a bunch of makeup. I will put on makeup at times. It's just because I'm a girl and I like to do it. But I'm not going to get all dressed up and get on here and try to be somebody I'm not. I'm just going to tell you straight up my story, my thoughts, and that kind of thing. And just let you know and give you some encouragement that there were days when I wanted to end it all. I'm still going through things. I drank too much. I smoked cigarettes. He hated it. Hated cigarettes. His grandma smokes too. She smokes a lot more than I do. And he hated it. And you would say, he even said to me one time, this will break your heart. He said to me one time, adults always say that they'd do anything for their kids, but yet they won't quit smoking or drinking or doing drugs, which in my case, I don't do drugs, but he was talking about like some of his friends' parents. And I was like, whoa, he's right. We say we'll jump in front of a train for them, but we won't stop smoking or drinking. And still, I did stop for him for a while when he was going through treatment, and I never smoked around him when he was going through treatment and everything. But after he passed, yeah, I drink. I don't sleep if I don't drink, and I'm not proud of it, but that's the clear, transparent, God's honest truth. And so, I mean, you just deal with it how you deal with it, as long as you're not completely destructive, I think. I mean, don't do heroin, and don't, you know, jump off a cliff, and don't, you know, I don't know, don't shut yourself off completely from the world or anything, but I can tell you this. It's going to be hard. It's going to hurt a lot all the time. You're going to hear songs. You're going to miss them. You're going to have nights when you have a few drinks, you watch a video that they were in, and you just feel so sad. And then you're going to have days when, like I said, you feel like they're just with you, and it almost makes you, yes, you're sad they're not there, and you miss them, and you're completely and utterly in grief always for the rest of your life, but you feel like they're there with you somehow, and they're enjoying it, you know, and they're, maybe it's a movie or something, and, you know, at the first part of the grief process, you couldn't, sorry, something popped up on my phone. You couldn't bring yourself to watch that movie. And then eventually you're like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and watch this movie. And then you felt like they were watching it there with you. Does that make sense? And then some people get little signs. My friend Susie the other day, just cleaning around her plants. She loves plants. And she was starting to water them and you know, just clean up around them. And she found three little toys, little toy figurines. I can't remember if they were soldiers, I think, but three. And what happened to her son was right after, I think, Christian passed away, he was killed by a drunk driver. He and his fiance, and she was pregnant with their child. So the three of them were killed by a drunk driver. And so that was kind of a sign to her, because it was three little, exactly three, not two, not one, not five. And she said, I have cleaned up around these plants for almost 2 years and never saw these toys. So anyways, this is a super long video. I'm gonna end it, but listen, just want to let you know I'm here if you need me. You can message me, you can, you know, I'll have links in the description box, or I will have. Watch my other videos. Some of them are DIYs. One of them in particular is about my son. You know, just enjoy your day and try to get as much happiness out of your day as you can, because believe it or not, your child would have wanted that for you. And it took me a long time to accept that fact. And I do enjoy things now. I do enjoy a cup of coffee, and I know he'd be smiling saying, Mom loved her coffee, you know. So you don't have to punish yourself, you know. It's okay to grieve, but don't not enjoy that cup of coffee or that road trip, or don't feel guilty for taking a vacation with the rest of your family, because you'll miss him while you're on vacation, but take him with you. You know what I mean? Be like, he or she would have loved this, you know? And yes, that'll make you sad too, because they're not here to love it, but then they're with you. And they're looking down at you if you believe in God. And they're happy that you're happy. Because children love their parents, and no matter what, they want their parents happy. So we got to try our best to get a little bit of happy out of every day. Okay? It's hard for me too. I'm not even going to lie. Listen, it's been great talking to you. Please subscribe, ring the bell. You know, if you like this video, if it helps you, there's nothing to like about grief really, but if it helps you, you know, give me a like, and if you need anything, just reach out. And I'll have all my links for my Instagram and everything on here. Alright. Take care. I'm sending you peace and hugs. Bye-bye.